Welcome to Classical 95.9 WCRI's Conducting Conversations with your host, Mike Mano. 1 hour of music and conversation with notable people in the arts, bringing you the stories of how music has impacted their lives. The show will give a behind-the-scenes look at the guest's background, interests, or special project.
Conducting Conversations is brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments. From sheet music and brand name instruments to rentals, repairs, lessons, and more. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.
And now here's your host, Mike Mano.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conducting Conversations. Tonight it's a pleasure to welcome back to our studios a guest that hasn't been here for quite a while. Many years. We'll find out exactly how long and why he stayed away all this time. We'll find out all those details. The subject of the program is Puddingstone, music/events. And Puddingstone is a long-standing Newport tradition. We'll find out all about that. The founder and I believe the executive director is here. And Clemens Teufel is here. Welcome back to WCRI, Clemens.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be back.
Yes, it was quite a while ago. As a matter of fact, it was when we had Dr. Mark Malkovich on the air with us for Newport, what at that time was Newport Music Festival, now changed to Newport Classical. But we're here to talk about Puddingstone, and a lot of people in the Newport area know about that. So let's start with a little bit about the name Puddingstone and why you came up with that.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So I had this idea or dream to start a festival and a music series for quite some time, and was sitting with a dear friend in a cafe, and we were contemplating to do this, and he asked me, what is your favorite composer? And I said, oh, that's easy, that's Robert Schumann. And he said, oh, why don't you call it the Robert Schumann Festival? And I said, well, that would be nice, but I would really love something that is local, that is not musical, and will make people think. And he said, oh, how about Puddingstone? And I said, what is Puddingstone? And he said, you know, Hanging Rock in Middletown. I said, oh, yes, that's one of my favorite places to go to. And he said, that's Puddingstone. And because I had told him about the idea to recreate musical salons, combining art forms, that's how he came up with Puddingstone, because the different quartzes in the stone, it's a conglomerate of a stone, they represent the different art forms, and that's what we do. So we have classical music or jazz, and we combine it with dance, with visual art, poetry, drama. And so it's that conglomerate, that artistic idea of combining things in a musical salon.
Well, that's great. That's a great name and a great way to come up with it. And it does make people think, because you do have lots of facets to what you do. You're not, I don't want to say just a classical performance group, but as you mentioned, you do jazz, you do art shows, all kinds of things. And you're based in the Newport area, and this goes back about how long ago did it start?
So this is now the third year that we're doing this. However, I've been doing this myself for a while. So even back in Germany as a student, I remember I had once curated a recital in a sparkling wine chateau in Germany. And so I always had this curiosity, and I think it was fueled the way I grew up, because my grandfather was an opera singer, and when he retired had a bar where composers, poets, musicians would come, and
they'd all hang out there.
They all hang out there, and they were doing things on the spot, like little songs, and there was a piano there, someone would go up, and there was a lady who could do origami, so she would fold things, and it was this very creative space.
Right.
And I was there every weekend as a child, and I really loved that. That's a very
So
fun
you started
memory.
drinking very early.
And smoking. Oh, there was so much smoke in that. I remember walking in there, I could not see for the first 5 minutes. That was
the old memories of the
different
way things
times
used to be, right? There you go. Now, that was in Germany, and you stayed in Germany till about what age?
I lived there up until 11 years ago.
Okay.
Grew up there, studied there, and then my last professor, he was both in Germany and in New York City. Lev Natoceni, and so through him I started performing here, and then reconnected with an older great uncle up in Gloucester, and met my wife here, and so I slowly graduated kind of into this change of location, and eventually moved here in 2015.
Okay, so it's relatively new, and it's a relatively new group. So third year of doing this officially as a nonprofit.
Yep.
And particularly this week, it's important because we have a major event coming up this week. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is very exciting. So we have regular musical salons at Rough Point in Newport, and it's one of my really favorite venues because it's a beautiful venue and has great acoustics and just adds a lot of flair to our musical events. And so this one is with Dutch-American singer Catherine Dane, and she'll bring a trio, a pianist and violist, and the program they're playing is This Love Between Us, and so it's dedicated to love songs and human relationships in all colors. And there's Brahms, there's Schumann, but there's some newer music as well.
Okay, and if people are interested in attending, that's on the 15th, right? Tax day. So people are done with all that. They can get out and enjoy the evening where it's at Rough Point at 7 p.m., and that's, of course, on Bellevue Avenue in Newport. And if people are interested in getting tickets, there are a few left. How do they do that?
Yeah, just go to our website. It's puddingstonemusic.org. Puddingstone,
Puddingstone. So easy to remember. And you can go there. There's lots of information, lots of pictures, and you can find out everything you want to know about that. Well, let's get to a piece of music. And what piece do you have for us first?
Yeah, I thought I'd play something from last year's festival that we did in June. We had a 1-week festival, and this one was actually recorded at Rough Point. It's a live recording, and it's the third movement from Beethoven's Archduke Trio. And the musicians are Clara Kim on the violin, Rafi Popper-Kaiser on the cello, and Angela Kim on the piano.
All right. It's a little bit lengthy, so that'll be the piece we'll listen to in this segment. We'll listen to that, then take a short break, and be back with more. Puddingstone music is the subject of tonight's Conducting Conversations. I'm Mike Mano, very pleased to be sitting with Clemens, who is the founder and executive director of the 501(c). Wow, where did that come from? Puddingstone Music, Puddingstone Events, Puddingstone Festival, all kinds of things that we can talk about. We didn't get too much about your background and how you started in music. You were in Germany at a young age. What got you inspired? How did that all begin?
Yeah, so the first memory I have of the piano is in my grandfather's bistro bar. There was this light-colored upright piano, and there was a lot of people, and it was loud, and I just played away. And my father told me when he heard me experiment as a little boy, I was 5 or 6, he said he could hear that there was some effort to express things.
Right.
And so then I took piano lessons, and I always experienced music as something really joyful and easy, which I guess I was lucky that way. And my father didn't push me up until I was a little older. I had my first public performance at 12, and I felt a reaction from people. And that's kind of where I realized, I thought this was kind of just fun, and I was doing this because I wanted to do it. And then things started to change a little bit, and I played more at the school, and my teachers became a little bit more serious. And then at the age of 16, I was asked to accompany a cellist for a competition. And we won a first prize, and that was the moment when I thought, "Oh, you can do something with music."
Yeah, great.
And
that's very interesting you say that, because about your father, and kind of I followed my father in his singing career, and it was about that age when I was 10, 11 that I started realizing, oh, this might be for me. I had an older brother who wanted no part of it, and so my father was kind of happy that I was going in that direction. But it's very similar. By the time I was 16, I was performing around the country, and it was, we're kind of like brothers here. Very similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
You with the piano and me with the voice. Not talented enough to do the piano, but I can hum along. We talked briefly about the event that's coming up this Wednesday, and there's lots of things involved. There's a message I tried to get out, different facets of Puddingstone. The festival itself, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So we initiated that last year with a dear friend of mine I studied with, Angela Kim. And we've talked about doing a festival for, I think, since we knew each other, almost. And so last year we finally did it. And so we had found this week in Newport, it's important to find the right time slot with all the cultural things happening.
Sure.
And so we decided to do it in the last week of June to kick off summer culturally a little bit. And so we were in different venues at the Colony House, at the Redwood Library. We were at Rough Point, and then at Provence-sur-Mer, which is this beautiful rectory, old rectory next to Jane Pickens. And Karen Pinelli, the owner, she restored it, and it's now an event space. And it was a lot of fun. And so we invited several people. We had 3 concerts. It was really a successful first iteration. And so this year we're doing it again.
Right.
This time we're doing it at the Casino Theater. And it's June 21st to June 27th.
Been restored, right?
Yes. So the Casino Theater is beautiful. It's this little gem of an antique theater in Newport, but with updated, high quality, with high quality materials, acoustics. And so we'll be there. We're going to be doing 5 concerts, including one family show with the Rubin Brothers from Boston. They do music and also a little bit of circus art in it. So it's a really fun combination.
Okay.
But we have basically music that spans over 300 years. And one is Sakai Curtis, who for his Latin album, he won Best Latin Album for Cuban Jazz at the Grammys last year. And yeah, we're very fortunate that we were able to invite him and have him. Really, really looking forward to that.
Excellent. All right. Sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us about this next piece of music you have.
Yeah, so that is from Sakai's album that was awarded the Grammy last year. And yeah, so it's Afro-Cuban jazz, but it's his own really language and music. And it's very unique. He's a great pianist, but also a great composer. And I really love his music. I'm very excited about this.
Clemens, it must be interesting to have various kinds of music. You mentioned jazz and, of course, classical, and whether it's a piano, violin, or whatever type of instrument, even a harp coming up, right? It must be interesting to put all that together, and you have a wide variety of things going on.
Yeah, indeed. And this is the part that I really love and that fulfills me. That musically or artistically, the sky is the limit. And I'm fortunate that I have a network of musicians I worked with, or I studied with, or met somewhere, friends of friends. But I also really enjoy just browsing the internet, or something pops up on Instagram, or someone says to me, hey, there's this young guitar player, you really should check him out. In fact, that was a really fun story. We had last year Callum Graham, who was a Canadian guitar player, and someone reached out to me and said, yeah, I have this guitar player. I wanted to propose this idea that you present him. And I met with her, and she's this wonderful lady in Jamestown. She was a singer herself. She told me all about herself. She sang with some really big names in the pop music world.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoy the connections that I find, and the colorful, the variety of things. It's really interesting. And then adding different art forms and seeing the symbiosis, seeing how then artists feed off each other. We had one event at Gardner House where there was a piano trio from London, and then we had a painter and a dancer. And so the dancer then recreated a movement that was in one of the paintings that we were exhibiting.
Oh.
And the trio was first... we have never done anything like this. And then in the end, they basically said this was fantastic.
Oh, good.
And so it's just a very interesting, lively experience, and it also leads to a very immersive and colorful show, which I just love for the audience to experience music in an innovative way. I think that's really fun and important.
Well, it sounds like the kind of thing I could fall in love with. Was that good? Was that a good setup?
That was great.
We do have time for one more piece of music before our next break. Tell us about When I Fall in Love.
Well, that's another piece from Sakai's album, and I heard through his album, and when I heard that, I fell in love, literally. It has this very calm, beautiful, loving atmosphere, and I think his talent really comes through in that piece.
Puddingstone Music Festival is the subject of tonight's Conducting Conversations. I'm Mike Mano, very pleased to be sitting with Clemens talking about some great music that he is bringing to the Newport area. We talked about an event on Wednesday. We talked about a music series that'll be coming up, festival, and there's a lot of things going on. So we're going to try to get a couple more pieces of music in. Clemens, tell us about this next piece we're going to listen to.
Yeah, so the next piece is by Lily Boulanger. She's a really much beloved composer. For those who know, she was the sister of Nadia Boulanger, who was a famous composer, but also teacher. Philip Glass, for example, studied with her. And she was a very famous music theory and composition teacher. And Lily was the sister of her who passed a little tragically at a younger age. And to me, she is this very just hidden treasure of a composer. And I played some of her repertoire last year and really enjoyed it. And so this is again Catherine Dange, who's going to sing for us on Wednesday at Rough Point in Newport. And she is playing this piece, singing this piece called Attente.
C'est pas étrange à l'horizon de mes regards, exaucer mes rêves épars entre les lèvres de vos anges. En attendant sous mes yeux et sa bouche ouverte aux prières et dans tes paupières et dans les lys des pleurs.
Clemens, we have just a few minutes left to kind of recap all of the things we've talked about. Puddingstone music is the subject of the conversation tonight, and Puddingstone events is another part of it. Puddingstone Festival is another part. If people want to get information, they can go to the website, correct, and find out everything they want to know.
That's right.
And that's puddingstonemusic.org. And that'll tell you about the events. It'll tell you about the different things that are coming up in the following season. A little bit about the people involved, too. Your staff and yourself are all involved in that website. So check it out. And it's interesting when I talk to someone that's involved with a group like this, they always say it takes a village, takes lots of people to get it done. It's not just you, but there are other people involved, right?
Absolutely. So, and I'm just utmost grateful because the team makes really the difference. And also the alliances and collaborations with local nonprofits. And I've been very, very blessed. And it's just so nice to see people pulling all in the same direction to get that artistic vision and that work for the community really done in a most beautiful way. And so, yeah, it does take a village, and I'm really grateful for all the people, my board, the many donors, our volunteers, and it's really a wonderful experience.
It's nice to have a lot of people around you to help out. Now, the event Wednesday night, I presume you'll be there.
I will be there, yes.
All
I
right,
will
so-
introduce everything, and it's at Rough Point. And if you're interested, please come and join us. We still have some tickets left, and see how we do our musical salons.
It'll be fun, I'm sure. And people would like to come up. You'll talk to people, right?
Absolutely.
You're not,
So that's one
you
of
don't
our
have security around you.
No, so that's really part of why we are doing this. Is we want to be accessible, open, immersive, and I love talking to people, and so do our artists. So please come, because it's in these more intimate venues. It is naturally that we're closer, and
Right.
you'll be just a few feet away from the musician and seeing, experiencing, feeling this performance.
Great opportunity. Well, thank you so much for coming in tonight, Clemens. It's a pleasure to see you again. And we've got to do it more often now that Puddingstone is up and running. We'll have to have you back soon.
Thank you. I'd love that. Thank you so much, Mike. It's really a
right.
pleasure to be here.
We have one piece of music left. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so that is Debussy and Catherine Dane, and we're staying in the French song repertoire, and it's one of Debussy's earlier pieces where he did experiment a little bit, but it has that French beautiful flair that I love so much, that we all love so much.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll listen to that, and then we'll see the rest of you next time on Conducting Conversations.
Dimanche chez les petites filles, chantant d'une voix informée, des rondes obstinées, ne pas le tour, n'en plus que pour quelques jours. Dimanche, les gares s'envolent, tout le monde pareil, porté bonne d'aventure, en se disant adieu, avec des gestes éperdus. Dimanche, les travaux vides, dévorés par conscience tunnel, et les bons échos des routes échangent d'un unique des impressions toutes mécaniques. Dimanche, dans le bleu de mes rêves, où mes pensées tristes de feux d'artifice manqués ne veulent plus quitter le deuil de vieux dimanches trépassés. La nuit à pas de velours
Conducting Conversations was brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments, using music and the arts to keep your child educated, entertained, and having fun. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.